Hey everybody, Wrenchin with Bob. I'm going to take a Rabaconda and I'm going to take a dirt tire with my WR250R 18-inch rear wheel. I'm going to put a bib-mousse, a nitro mousse, bib-mousse in it, and that can be a difficult activity, I understand. This will be my first try at mounting a bib-mousse, and we'll see how that goes. Do a first time attempt. Hopefully great success, raving success at installing a bib-mousse on dirt tire. So it's an 18-inch for a WR250R, and the bib-mousse is a match for that. Ready to do the California BDR with a buddy of mine. We're going to take the small bikes because otherwise I'm really nervous on the big bike doing that one. Anyway, so we got a golden tire here, which is an enduro tire. It's going to have really hard sidewalls. It's supposed to be a challenge. Although I will say I saw Meg's Brap do it without the Rabaconda, with a little bit of a helper breaker bar kind of a thing, and she rocked it. So well done, Meg. So the first thing to do is you got to lube up the inside of the tire, and you got to lube up the nitro mousse. This is a nitro mousse. Because heat is the enemy of the mousse, it'll break it down, so the lube actually helps that. And the exact match of the nitro mousse for the exact size for the exact tire, right? I mean, the brand, the manufacturer, the type of tire, and the exact size of the tire matters to the size of the nitro mousse. So they've got a whole table with darn near any tire that you're going to buy, and say exactly which nitro mousse to buy. So that I'm not going to go through the details on, but that's really important because any vibration that's inside there, any gap that's in there in the tire is going to generate friction and heat, and that's going to break down the mousse over time. Also note that they say it a million different times, these mousse are not rated for highway travel, and certainly not over 75 miles an hour. So we're going to be taking it easy on the road to and from our truck. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to lube this up, and start with this. The other thing I have going on here in terms of tools is I've got 4 really stout tire irons that have the curved section and the straight section. It's a messy operation. Everybody that I've watched the videos of, they'll put it on the tire, half of it on the inside of the tire, and then they'll put half on the outside of the mousse, and then stuff the mousse in. Flip it over just so that I can see what I'm missing, basically. I'm sure I'm missing the upper edge. I didn't do that as well. Now it's the lower edge. I've heard some folks say get an extra tube of this. Most do not say that, so I didn't. Yeah, so back to where I started. So that guy's ready. And it's a mess. Yikes. Don't tell my wife I leaned that there, right? Okay, just between us, because that's her bike. One other note here, it is not the goal to use this lube as lube for installing the wheel, because this lube is intended to not vaporize, to not dry up, whereas soapy water or tire installation lube is designed to be sort of water-based, not oil-based. This is pretty thick oopy-goopy stuff that is intended to stick around literally stick around for the whole life of the tire. So you don't want that on the bead. So I've used up the whole tube. Here's the inside and the outside. Tried to stay away from the bead. I'll wind up wiping that clean once I get the mousse inside the tire, which is next. word to the wise. I had to split up this work effort, had some other things I had to do, and I hadn't gotten the mousse into the tire yet. And I came back, and while the inside is still all shiny from the lube, it also has a pool. Yeah, you can't see that, but it has a pool. It's kind of come down the walls, and now it's sitting in the bottom of the wall down here. So now I've got to sort of spread that back again, and then put the mousse in. I suppose that also means that if the bike sits for a long time, that could also kind of have an effect. I mean, maybe centripetal force might spread it around for you as you get rolling. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing right now. The next task is to get the mousse inside the wheel, inside of the tire. Off we go. Here we go. So what I've seen done is stuff in the first thing, which seems pretty obvious. This isn't going badly. I've seen people step on it and stuff as they start to do it, which I really didn't want to do to my shoes, but I don't think, maybe I won't have to do that. Oh, that wasn't bad. Rock on. Sold. No matter how hard you try, you're going to have gotten some of this lube out here in the bead area and in the bead edge where you don't want it, right? Ultimately, even though you do want some lube on the tire to get it on the rim, you want a lube that's going to go away, right? You don't want it to be slipping on the rim, and that's what the RIMLOCK's for, but you don't want to use a lube that doesn't go away, an oil-based lube, and this feels oil-based. So basically, I'm just gonna clean up the edge here, paper towel, make a couple of passes right here on the edge, and then also down on the vertical part here, because that has quite a bit. Okay, and I've already done the other side, so there's your demo. Super simple. So at this point we're ready to start mounting, and what I'm going to say to do here is start with the disc side up. This gives you a little less knuckle busting on the sprocket side. Check to make sure whether your tire has a direction to it. In this particular case, the 18-inch does not have a direction to it. The 21-inch does, both from Golden Tire. Don't know why. I've checked it like 5 times. I swear it doesn't have a direction. I swear. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start the RIMLOCK. The RIMLOCK's here, across from the bead breaker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this bead buster lubricant on the bead, just on the bead here, just to give me a little bit of ease of use. Okay, so the first goal here is to get the edge of the tire, this edge of the tire, up under the edge of the bead lock, or the RIMLOCK. And so it's kind of an angled deal here with a press down of the RIMLOCK to get that in there. You want to try and lock that into place if that's possible, and then keep some pressure against it as you work your next steps. Stepping on the edge of the stand a little bit to keep it steady. certainly the lube on everything helps. Basically, my shoving here is helping everything to be in the drop center, so I've got a little bit of space on the other side. Okay, I'm going to take a second one, maybe hold things down. So what if I use this guy to hold? Cool. Okay, so what I did is I let up the pressure here on this one in order to get a little space to put the tire iron in there. Never quite goes like the videos. Okay, that's all a little extra. Now that the bottom side is on and down, and the mousse is sitting in the drop center pretty completely, right? I mean, I can sort of touch it here. You can feel it here. That's all right, I think. I'm going to take the RIMLOck and I'm going to put it over here. So the RIMLOck will be the last thing we do, the last trick. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put a tire iron in here. We're going to work our way, actually I'll work way around this way so that you guys can see me. I'm going to work our way around this way about a third of the way with just spooning on. First, this first bite needs to be held in by the hook. So these hooks here on the Rabaconda are kind of a helper hand. So I'm just going to do that, put that under the hook. So now you're around a third or so around, you're going to take the straight edge and with the little digger pointed down, that angle pointed down, I'm going to put that in the tire, nice and deep in there. What this is going to effectively do is allow for the tire to wind up a little deeper in the drop center, and that's going to help out this final situation here that we're creeping up on. And we're going to do another one of these. Now I've got an iron to do this with. So as you're getting closer to the edge, or to the end, you just want to take smaller bites. We've all seen a video saying that. And when you look at the tire here versus over here, the line that is where there's that line that shows you that the bead is kind of nicely seat all the way around the rim. You won't see that line over here because if the tire really is down in that drop center the way it should be, you won't see that, and that's something to check for. And as you get tighter here, you can let up the pressure on the left hand here. You can let that pressure up, which allows for a little bit of a gap to form in here to get that tire iron in there. So like now, it's getting tight. So getting this iron in is probably going to be really hard. Whoa, hey, it went. All right, I'll take it. You don't want this to come up and hit you in the face. So here, this is going to become too difficult. So I'm just going to release the pressure here a little bit so I can get the iron in. Dang it. I can get it up there. Oh, here we go. Got it. Yeah. I'm real happy to get that extra one, that extra bite. So what I'm left with here is about that's left. And it's with the RIMLOCK. These guys are staying in here. I can now bring this around where the final target is. Now the idea is you want to press the RIMLOCK and at the same time use the bead breaker to get this final bit in. And that's going to allow, with the RIMLOCK pressed, that's going to allow the tire to get behind the RIMLOCK as it should be. So if you don't do that, you're in trouble. So the trick that everybody shows is use your caliper as a lever, and you don't want to be mean to it, but use it as a lever. There it goes, it's moving, right? So that's going to be my lever to get my RIMLOCK to move. And in theory, if I do it real steady, I will be able to press it, and then I'll be able to press down on the bead breaker at the same time. And I should do it as far out on the lever as I can, just to get torque. And there it is. Hey, that worked. That freaking worked. So now, take the tire irons out. And these are really just there for the drop center. And now you can take a look and see where your bead, where that line is that runs around the bead. And here, it's down a little further than you would say would be normal and natural. But because you're not inflating the tire, it's supposed to not be a big deal, and it'll work its way out basically, because you got a bunch of lube in there and other stuff. So you ride, and then this is going to pop out so that everything feels natural. Now, there's no inflating to do, so there's no seating of the bead to do, because that's kind of already done. I mean, if you feel around the back side, you should feel that it's nicely on the rim and up here. And so now that we got that going on, we're going to tighten our RIMLOCK. Do not forget to tighten the RIMLOCK. Tighten it, but don't over tighten it. So one last item of note, here's where the valve stem was. That's a hole. And in somebody's video they said you should plug this hole with a rubber plug or something, otherwise water will wind up getting in there or lube will wind up seeping out. Not sure how much of that I buy. It seems like an awfully nice seal against the mousse. I mean, the mousse is jammed up against there, but I might take some silicon seal, like bathtub caulk adhesive seal, and just dab that in there to seal that up. There you go. One down, one to go. 21 inches next. But not today.